Now, let's cross back, though, to Birmingham, to the Tory party conference, which has just wrapped up with that keynote speech. Brendan Clarke-Smith, Conservative MP and Parliamentary Secretary to Cabinet Office, joining us from there now. Thanks very much for joining us so quickly after the speech. I tried to write down how many times she said growth, and I failed because there were quite a few of them. But it is a well-rehearsed message. There were no more rabbits out of the hat, as we remember from the Chancellor's speech. I mean, have they got their fingers burnt a little bit? They're going to be a bit more cautious now?
Well, it's growth and delivery. It's the same message, I would say. And you saw how long it took for the Prime Minister to get going because people were still on their feet, were still clapping. And people ask about the support, what's the mood at this conference? I think that was a good sign of exactly how supportive people are. You know, people actually believe in this. There's a nice personal touch there. The story I can really relate to with the comprehensive school and looking after your family and looking at bills and what we're going to do about that. And for me, that was that positive vision we were actually waiting for and that we actually really wanted to give us a lift at the conference. I think the Prime Minister did that.
Brendan, good to see you as ever on the show. Since you mentioned her point about being the first Prime Minister that went to a comprehensive, I don't think that's true. I think actually Gordon Brown also went to a comprehensive, but we're going to park that. If she is so proud of going to a comprehensive, why on earth does she want to have more grammar skills?
Well, it's about raising opportunities. That's a good question, Gloria. It's about choice, isn't it? And as Conservatives, I think one of the reasons that I got into politics, we want to give people those choices and what is right for them. And it's about giving those opportunities. We're talking about, helping women into the workplace. It's our third female Prime Minister now, but we just look at it as opportunity for everybody. We had Nadim Zahawi was on before talking about a similar thing with his experiences, and we want to continue those opportunities, but you can't do that if you don't have a functioning economy, if you don't have that growth, and of course if you're paying £6,000 a year in your energy bills. So we've dealt with all of those. We put that positive vision through. I think during the speech as well there's a really nice bit of ad-libbing and some good humour from the Prime Minister as well with the protesters. So I think we've got something really good that we can build on now.
The phrase was status quo is not an option. I mean, obviously the problem for her is that there are many backbenchers feeling the same about her, that they want change already. How much of a job have the whips got to do now when you all get back to Parliament and people actually digest what's gone on these past 2 weeks?
Well, it's very difficult over the summer. I think whenever you change your leader, you just did a feature about Boris Johnson as well, who's very, very popular with the Republican Party members there. And I think Liz's message, the Prime Minister, she was always about that party unity, about bringing people together. And, OK, you want your colleagues to fall in line and to actually do that. And I think people are very supportive. We want to bring those people with us. We've shown this last week, the Chancellor, that he is prepared to listen to colleagues as well. And that's what we're doing, because we will only win that election, we'll only get that growth, that delivery, if we go forward together united. You do that by listening to colleagues, showing that their opinions are valued, and of course if you actually deliver for the country.
Is Liz Truss the party's greatest asset? Those words came from Jake Berry, the party chairman, this morning.
I think so. I was a big supporter, supported from the first round. I supported a Prime Minister before as well. As you said, there's a bit of a change of direction. A lot of those traditional Conservative principles, I think that a lot of us are very keen on, about low tax, about growing the economy, about opportunity. And they're the kind of things that we actually really want to hear. So there's the positivity there. Again, as I said, a bit of good humour there. I think the public will be warming to that. So I can look at the opinion polls. The only polls that really actually count are the ones on election day. That's going to be a couple of years away now. There's plenty of chance, I think, for us to turn this round and to show the public that we're actually getting on with the job and delivering what they want to see.
However, one of those things that you've got to get on with is obviously trying to settle this row about benefits and whether they rise by inflation or by the wage figures. And clearly there's a huge number of people out there very worried. We didn't hear a word about this in the conference speech.
Well, I think we did, but in a slightly different way. And I think the main thing is there that we want to support people. We want people to be able to pay their bills, pay their mortgages, heat their homes and so on. Now, you can talk about benefits, and if you just assume it's all people who are not working and so on, and we want to fill those million-odd jobs, and we want people to get well-paid employment with good hours so they don't have that problem in the first place. But, of course, not everybody on universal credit's in that situation. We have carers, we have people with disabilities, people who can only work part part-time, and we want to be fair to them. But what I'd say about uplifting and the rating of benefits in line with inflation, if you look at their energy bills that were going to go up, even if you'd done that, it wouldn't have touched the sides. It wouldn't have actually paid for anywhere near that. So actually, when we're targeting things specifically, and the most vulnerable households are getting £1,200 rather than the £400, that's actually more than the inflationary increase would have actually been. So I think it's about the whole package and supporting people rather than just specifically the benefit. But I think what we all agree on is that we want to support people, and we're a compassionate party. Colleagues care about that a lot, and party conference, of course, is a great place to have these discussions.